Good afternoon, all you peoples. How you doing? It's me again, Mr. Willie T. And we are out here doing our thing for our third vlog. So, yeah. It's our Tripz blog, daily Tripz blog. Yesterday was a nice, productive day. Got a lot of good things done. But I was thinking too, what's up with this vlog? Am I just gonna tell you what we're doing for the day? God, can't be boring. Um, even though we do quite a few interesting things every day. But that'd probably be boring. I think too. I think part of this is also telling story of where we got here, how we got here. What's up with this journey? What started your mushroom journey? We're all familiar with the famous Paul Stamets, and his infamous story of how he had a book about mushrooms and he decided to eat those mushrooms, and um, his friend burnt his book, and then they ate too many mushrooms and he ended up in a tree during a thunderstorm, so that was his story and how it helped him, quit his thing. What's up, Cody? Nice to see you. Welcome to the live stream. I think I got it set up so I could actually see the chats come in from all areas of our live stream. So feel free to ask any questions or anything during our morning wake up sesh. Yeah, so for me, I've been, I discovered mushrooms super cool when I was super young. What up, Miss Patty Dukes? Vanna, how y'all doing? Good morning to y'all. Good afternoon. Yeah, and, just like everybody, it was funny though when I first discovered mushrooms. One of the things that's been brought up about mushrooms locally, they're talking about this whole, wood paralysis, and they won't allow certain strains of mushrooms like azarescens, which is a great mushroom that grows specifically here on the Oregon coast, to be part of the psilocybin program in the beginning. Eventually, it probably will. But for now, they want to do a little bit more studying. And I just thought it was funny, too, because I hear about this, and I always thought I would always tell people whenever I ate mushrooms, I was out. Like, I was on the floor, somebody needed to take care of me. I usually was the one taking care of everybody at the events and the parties. But when I eat mushrooms, somebody going to have to take care of me. Because I'm going to be rolling circles around the floor, spin little circles and not going nowhere. And I used to always think that the not being able to move was just part of the mushroom experience. And it wasn't until we started, messing with our own labs and our own production that we started to discover that that's not even part of the mushroom experience. Wood paralysis is real. It just isn't in all mushrooms. And that's why, mushrooms now are being grown in cocoa coir and all that stuff. Yeah, and so, we used to host events when I was younger and throw parties, and we used to, sit out and trip out when the moon would come out and you wouldn't be able to see the moon, and that's kind of where we had some of our first, experiences with psychedelics was, hosting little parties and events for our friends and having a good old time. And, it wasn't until our older age when, things had happened in life and you started eating mushrooms, you started to get the more, interpersonal experiences. The more look, instead of just experiencing the mushroom to have, a fun experience, to enjoy the party more, it became more about inner perspective, exploring your own mind more and exploring your own thoughts and your own processes, and I think that's part of been the second half of my journey in mushrooms is that factor. I think there came to a point where at one point I thought that all mushrooms and all psychedelic experiences, I've done it all, right? There's nothing more I could experience that'd be cooler. It's not like I could see another cool geographic pattern that just, has me, amazed. But it it was quite impressive at how many psychedelic experiences I still had that were still sending out super amazing experiences. And Vanna, yeah, microdosing. You're 100% right. The microdosing, a little bit every day, that really helps a lot of people. Sorry, my back is killing me lately. Microdosing has been huge. A lot of talk about microdosing and how it's going to help so many people with like lion's mane. I actually have some lion's mane we're going to be harvesting soon, so maybe I'll pull those up and harvest them one morning during one of our blogs. But lion's mane mixed with the psilocybin does make quite the impressive microdosing effect. A lot of people who are just suffering from a lot of depression, a lot of things like that. A lot of good positive stuff is coming out of microdosing. And plus, it's one of the best coffees you could ever have. Oh, microdose in the morning just kind of rewires you, changes how you think. Not like in a bad way, it changes like how you think positively. If you're having a bad day, microdose, it'll help you out. But you want to make sure you get that microdose right. Sometimes a microdose isn't quite the microdose, and all the colors are really beautiful. So, yeah. And, so, fast forward journey, here we are. We have legalized mushrooms starting up here in Oregon. I think, too, right now, the question's on the ballot for Colorado. So I think they're deciding if they're going to be pursuing a legal regulated mushroom business down there shortly. So all eyes on Colorado. But we'll be the first out here, of course. So it's going to be really great. Too, for me, I think I've said it before and I just want to reiterate it. It's the industry too. It's like the mushroom industry. I like how it feels. It feels like the beginnings, like back in the day when we started the, smoke shop stuff. There was a lot of people, not very many people in the industry. So it was a very small, knit, tight community. Lots of people, everybody knew each other, everybody generally worked together. I mean, even the people who were against each other stood around and laughed and joked with one another, worked together still. And the industry has gone mainstream. Nicotine bars have taken over, and it's kind of changed. It doesn't quite have that same feel as it had. You're just as likely to find somebody that doesn't smoke there as you are to find somebody blazing up a bowl of the best weed. And I think going to some of the events and stuff, there's a real sense of good community in this, even when it's two separate things, like the supplement mushrooms compared to the psilocybin mushrooms. There's still a community there. It's not really, it doesn't feel very separated, and I like that. That feels really cool. That feels like it feels like the beginning of something beautiful. So now if it stays like that over the course of the next 10 years, we'll see. And I sure hope it does. Big money did come into cannabis, but there are still players in the game that are still doing their things, still out there, still kicking butt. And I expect the same to be happening for the mushroom industry. I think the thing about the mushroom industry is it's going to help people in different ways. I love cannabis, but the reality is, you microdosing is great. You could, microdose and find what you need to find. And, you could also hero dose and have one session and be done. Never ever need another session again. And I think that's going to be one of the powerful things about psilocybin, is how much it's going to help people get over some of the things they're struggling with. Can you say affordable meds? Exactly. Yes, I agree. Affordable meds. That's another beautiful thing. I mean, here in this industry too, it's like the industry, you got a lot of people trying to jump in this, being like, "Oh, we're gonna grow hella mushrooms, brah," and that's not what it's about. I mean, just to scare anybody off, thinking they're gonna get in and grow hella mushrooms and get rich. It's not gonna happen because there's guys in this industry who are willing to grow all the mushrooms everyone they could ever need for free. Um, and they would just want more people to help people. And that's what they're really trying to do. That's what they're trying to build with the facilitator things. People to help people. I think it's beautiful. And it's also one of the things I think we're working towards here in Oregon. We had 110. And what is 110? No longer arresting people for, simple possession. Instead, people trying to help people. People trying to help them through their struggles. Spreading love. Talking to one another. Helping one another. And I think that's what this industry, if you really want to be part of this Oregon psilocybin industry, that's what it's going to be. Is you got to be wanting to be a person that's willing to help people. And that's what it's going to do. We could grow all the cool ones and all the fancy ones and the one that's got the most psilocybin. But really, it boils down to people helping people. And people helping people get over things they've gone through. People helping people understand struggles they've been through. And people helping people just, navigate all the things that we're going to be going through. I mean, lots of things happening in this world right now. So, but yeah, that's what we're going to make these daily blogs more about. Tell some stories. I'll, talk some history, where I came from, where I'm going. You guys comment, hit us with questions. We got another open comment session coming up soon here. So we'll make sure to submit some questions that we got going down. Yeah, and we're going to get at it. I'll check on that lion's mane. Hopefully we can harvest that live. It'd be real cool to see. I'm really excited about harvesting our first lion's mane. We're going to be getting into cordyceps next. Yeah, it's been a real fun journey. What's really fun, the journey is too, when you start to understand like the mycological world, like and how small and tiny, yeah, how much mushrooms do for everybody. It's mind blowing. It really truly is. I'm reminded of one of the first times when I was younger. I was walking through Hemp Fest and Ed Rosenthal was there. And he was doing a speech, right? And I was walking by. I'm like, "You tell him, Ed." And Ed's like, "What have you done for the movement?" And he pulled me up on stage. Got me up on stage. Made me like, scatter some words through. I'm just like, "Oh, I did this. I kind of did this." And afterwards, he's like, "Come by the booth." And I'm like, "Okay." So I come by the booth and I'm all apologetic. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I haven't done much." And he told me something I'll never forget. He said, "It's the small steps that count. It's taking that first small step. You take enough small steps, it's going to count." And I think that's the beauty of the mycological world. It's one tiny little drop. Everything's one tiny little piece. And, it could have huge consequences. That's what I think this whole industry is going to be. One tiny little drop. It's going to have huge growing consequences. Positive consequences for years to come. Yeah, agreed. Completely underestimated in the medical world. Got attached to brewers and witches and got overlooked by science and medical for years. It's going to be amazing to see what happens. Yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. This is Willie T. Vlog for the daily Tripz vlog. Y'all holler at me. I'm gonna go get to work. We'll see y'all later.